Today I want to talk about a book that I absolutely love, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. This book is very popular and has sold over 4 million copies globally. It offers a unique perspective of money, focusing on the behavioral aspects of money management rather than mathematical strategies. In this video, I will go through some of my favorite concepts or lessons that this book teaches us. I will not do a chapter by chapter review because I would love for you to pick up this book and give it a read. Trust me, it's worth it. Anyway, now let's see what are some powerful lessons from this book. Let's begin. Starting with perception and luck. Our financial outlook is profoundly shaped by our upbringing and life experiences, creating a unique money story for each one of us. This narrative influences how we view, spend, and save money, often in ways we are not fully conscious of. For example, somebody coming from a home where money was scarce will always see money as financial security. On the other hand, somebody coming from a more affluent background will see money as a way to take risks and explore opportunities. This shows us the deeply personal nature of money management. For some, it's security, and for some, it's leverage. There's more complexity added to our financial journey due to the role that luck and chance play. As we know, we cannot control where we come from, and even in our financial journeys, unexpected things will always keep happening. These unexpected things, whether positive or negative, can change an individual's story. This shows us that financial success is highly unpredictable and you cannot plan for everything. As Morgan Housel puts it, not all success is due to hard work and not all poverty is due to laziness. It's very important to empathize with others as well as yourself and understand that the journey towards wealth and success is very complex. The least you can do is reflect on your own experiences and understand how they affect your perception of money. This introspection might help you take better financial decisions for yourself. Next, we have the pursuit of more and the power of compounding. In our society, we are always chasing wealth because it's seen as a measure of success. It becomes an endless cycle. The endless chase and accumulation can lead to permanent dissatisfaction. The goals of enough constantly keep shifting. Morgan Housel addresses this by saying the hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. True financial wisdom lies in not just accumulating wealth but also understanding what's enough for you. This again highlights the first lesson where you need to understand what money means to you. At some point, you need to stop and let money do its work through compounding. This brings us to one of the most powerful concepts in finance, that is compounding. Despite its potential, the principle of compounding is very overlooked. Compounding demonstrates how small, consistent investments can grow exponentially over time, leveraging the power of time and patience. This principle can also be illustrated by Warren Buffett's wealth, which showcases not just his investment acumen but the profound impact of compounding over decades. We should all embrace the power of compounding by starting to invest early and consistently. Patience and long-term thinking play a huge role in financial success. This approach can make you rich and help you develop a mindset of enough by rejecting instant gratification. Next, we have wealth creation versus wealth preservation. The journey to financial success involves two phases: creating wealth and preserving it. While creating wealth is often marked by taking calculated risks and seizing opportunities, preserving it requires a more cautious approach, emphasizing risk management and the safeguarding of assets. A striking example of this is the story of 50 Cent, who rose to fame and fortune with his music career, amassing a net worth of over $100 million. But due to a series of poor financial decisions and lavish spending habits, he filed for bankruptcy in 2015. There are several stories like this that serve as cautionary tales for all of us. Very different habits and strategies are required for creating wealth versus preserving it. Morgan Housel captures this dichotomy by stating, getting money requires taking risks, being optimistic and putting yourself out there, but keeping money requires the opposite of taking risk. A good strategy will always involve some sort of financial buffer that can help you get through bad times in life. For all of us, there's a need to create a comprehensive strategy that balances wealth creation and preservation. This involves diversifying investments, maintaining an emergency fund, and regularly reviewing and adjusting our financial plan to adapt to new information and life changes. This balanced approach is key to not only creating wealth but also ensuring that we get to keep it. The next lesson is the freedom of wealth and the man in the car paradox. Wealth is often equated with freedom. We have all heard the term financial freedom. Financial freedom basically gives you options in life. It lets you do things without the constraints of money. You need to start thinking of money as options rather than things. Talking about things brings us to the man in the car paradox. For example, when you see somebody driving a luxury car, the immediate thought is that they must be rich. But the reality could be a heavy burden of debt. This paradox serves as a reminder that the trappings of wealth can be deceiving. True wealth is not about the appearance of riches, it's about getting to live life on your own terms. Again, Housel explains, the truth is that wealth is what you don't see, the money that hasn't been spent, the cars that haven't been bought, the jewelry that hasn't been purchased, and the clothes that haven't been worn. In general, we should all ignore status symbols and focus focus on true financial freedom. Spend some time in understanding what you own today. Make sure you don't own more liabilities than assets. This shift in mindset will help you get over the illusion of wealth. It will also help you take more meaningful financial decisions. The next lesson is pretty closely tied to this: invisible wealth and the importance of saving. True wealth lies underneath the surface, often not visible to the naked eye. It's not about driving flashy cars or wearing designer clothes. Rather, wealth is defined by the financial assets that remain unspent. In our society, wealth is often seen as spending money. However, the exact opposite is what makes you wealthy. When it comes to accumulating wealth, the importance of saving cannot be overstated. Housel reminds us, spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money. Your primary focus should actually be saving and investing. Actually, there could be a distinction between being rich and being wealthy. While the rich may display their income through their purchases, the truly wealthy understand that unspent income, saved and invested wisely, grants them the freedom and security that no luxury item can. We all need to prioritize saving as a cornerstone in our financial journey. Always focus on the invisible riches by living below your means and investing the difference. Next up, we have rationality and the element of surprise. Being financially successful often hinges on being more reasonable than being strictly rational. Morgan Housel explains, being rational is draining. Aiming to be mostly reasonable works better than trying to be coldly rational. Being overly rational can lead to analysis paralysis, and it also ignores the emotional component of money management. Emotions are still a key driver of behavior when it comes to money. The element of surprise, on the other hand, is also a critical factor. Scott Sagan's observation that things that have never happened before happen all the time is particularly relevant in the financial world. We should let history guide our expectations but not use it as a map for the future. We have all seen the financial disclaimer that states past performance is not indicative of future results. This underscores the unpredictable nature of financial markets and the economy. Basically, we should not rely too much on the past and always be ready for any surprises that may come along our financial journeys. We should all adopt a reasonable approach to our financial decisions. For example, when it comes to investments, always maintain a healthy level of skepticism. This is where a diversified portfolio holding different kinds of assets becomes very important. The next lesson is quite closely related: room for error and embracing change. Financial planning is not just about maximizing returns. It's about incorporating safety and room for error due to the unpredictable nature of life and markets. Morgan Housel emphasizes the importance of this concept by saying the most important part of every plan is planning on your plan not going according to plan. That was a mouthful to say, but what it means is that you should not just plan for success, but you should also plan to overcome failures. This approach basically acknowledges the fact that despite our best efforts, we might fail. And this is why it's important to stay flexible and learn to embrace change, which brings us to the next point. It's important to understand that our lives and circumstances will constantly keep changing. Housel specifically notes, "You will change," to remind us that our goals and desires evolve as we go through different life stages. This evolution can significantly impact our financial needs and priorities. For example, the plan of a recent graduate will be very different from that of a retiree. Overall, we should all maintain a margin of safety when it comes to our financial plans. We should also monitor, regularly review, and change our plans as our life, goals, and circumstances change. Again, a proactive approach can make you successful in your financial journey. The next lesson is about the cost of everything and understanding each other. In the journey towards financial wisdom, it's really important to understand that nothing is truly free in the world. As Housel points out, everything has a price, and the key to a lot of things with money is just figuring out what that price is and being willing to pay it. This concept is not just about monetary transactions, but it's also about what we do with our time and the opportunities that come in front of us. We have to consider the opportunity costs, risks, and trade-offs associated with every financial decision. Next up, I want to highlight a chapter in the book which is called You and Me. I really like this chapter because it talks about how everyone's journey is different. This is really important in today's world because advice is coming from every direction. Generally, you have to be extremely careful who you are taking advice from. Do not take advice from somebody who's playing a different game than you are. The quickest way to lose your money is to take advice from somebody who's chasing short-term goals while you are focused on the long term. For example, if you go on YouTube today, there'll be tons of people trying to time the market. But a true long-term investor knows that as long as you're buying good assets, timing the market is a fool's game. The main lesson that the book is trying to teach us is that we should all be focused on our own journey. First, we need to figure out what that journey looks like and then figure out who to take advice from. And even when you decide to take advice, remember that the final decision will always rest with you. Morgan Housel says smart, informed, reasonable people can disagree in finance because people have vastly different goals and desires. There is no single right answer, just the answer that works for you. Develop a deep understanding of your financial situation and remind yourself when it comes to wealth building, long term is the name of the game. The final lesson is about the seduction of pessimism and the power of belief. This is where we delve into the intriguing dynamics of pessimism and belief in the financial world. Morgan Housel shed some light on why pessimism is so alluring, stating, "Optimism sounds like a sales pitch. Pessimism sounds like someone trying to help you." The reason we all pay more attention to pessimism is because of our natural instincts of survival. Generally, recognizing threats comes before recognizing opportunities. And this is why majority of the people are risk averse as well. However, a bias towards pessimism can skew our perception of risk versus opportunity. While it's important to stay safe, it's also important to recognize opportunities for potential growth. There's a chapter in the book called "You'll Believe Anything" that explores the power of belief and how it shapes our understanding of our financial realities. Morgan Housel emphasizes that stories are by far the most powerful force in the economy. They are the fuel that can let the tangible parts of economy work or the brake that holds our capabilities back. He also says the more you want something to be true, the more likely you are to believe a story that overestimates the odds of it being true. Generally, what he's trying to say is that all of us have a bias. Whether you are overly optimistic or overly pessimistic will often depend on what you are really looking for. In the markets, this is something that you get to see quite often. We always find these perma bears in the market who are always calling for a market crash. On the other hand, we see these perma bulls who will say that the market will go up forever. And we will always try to look at evidence that we want to see and ignore the rest. Overall, what we need is a balanced perspective. We should recognize the allure of pessimism but also be mindful of the narratives we choose to believe in. In finance, as in life, we should always approach everything with a healthy dose of skepticism. We should all learn to cultivate a balanced financial outlook. We should seek out diverse perspectives and base our decisions in facts and not feelings and stories. Okay, now it's time to wrap up this video about the psychology of money. The psychology of money illuminates the complex relationship we share with our finances, revealing how deeply our emotions and perceptions influence our financial decisions. If I wanted you to have one takeaway from this video, it would be this: true wealth is not about having a lot of money, it's about having a lot of options. This single line encapsulates all of Housel's teachings in the book. It's such a simple statement, but it's so hard to truly understand and follow. With this, I would like to end the video. If you haven't read the book, please read it. It truly has the power to change your perception about money. I'll be back next week with a new video. Till then, keep learning and stay on top of your finances. Until next time.